This is not financial nor professional advice. This video is for entertainment only. Hey everyone, quite a wild market we have on our hands, huh? I want to give you some feedback and a report on how I'm doing with my triple leveraged inverse bear funds. I came out pretty well. I sold all the funds, all these bear funds that short different indexes. I sold them all this morning at about 11 o'clock, figuring that I had reached the peak with them, or I had a specific money goal I want to accomplish with these, and I accomplished that goal. And so I said, that's good enough. And it goes back to that old saying that bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. And I wasn't in the mood to get slaughtered. So I came out really well with them. Overall, I started it last Wednesday, and then around 11 o'clock or so this morning I sold, and I made $180,000. You know, wow. Our funds and these inverse funds. And the reason it's risky and dangerous is I find that the crash comes on very quickly, and it also changes quickly because you get these relief rallies. And I think that's what this was. I think we got a relief rally, which is really puzzling. I think it had just gone down so much that it had to have some relief. But Powell will certainly change that tune tomorrow. Just watch it go down. I think Powell is naturally a bull. I think politically he's probably, I don't know this for a fact, but he's probably being pressured to raise interest rates just because inflation hurts the poor much more than it does the rich. And so Biden, I think he's looking at the midterm elections, and I think Powell is probably getting the message, you had better increase these interest rates or else. I think in Powell's mind, I'm trying to guess what he's thinking, but knowing his temperament and probably how he has to concede politically somewhat, I would expect him to do 1/4 percentage point each quarter. Okay, so that would be the 3 increases this year, assuming that he stops for the last quarter. But we don't have any guarantee of that, do we? But I think if inflation goes really wild, like stays at 10% or whatever it's at now, I think it's like 7% now. If it would go to 10%, I think he's going to be forced or highly pressured to do 1/4% each month. And if he holds off, I think he's going to be pressured at some point to do more than 1/4 percentage point at a time. And also, the reason the market went down early in the day, I think partly was because of Russia. Russia has amassed 100,000 troops along the Ukrainian border. It looks like they're preparing to invade. And Biden, they have sent $200 million of military equipment to help the Ukrainians. And I think he's also going to send 5,000 military advisors to the Ukrainian military, 5,000 troops the USA is going to send. That's what I'm hearing. I think, it's really a touchy situation. They think Russia's going to wait until February, okay? They want the ground to be frozen very hard And I think I'm guessing, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm guessing the reason they're waiting for the ground to freeze hard is so military equipment like heavy tanks don't have any problem going over the ground. So the market had that on its mind. But this is to say, if we get bad news on Russia doing an invasion, plus Powell, whenever Powell opens his mouth now, is a reason to short. Okay, I probably will be shorting at least somewhat tomorrow, and I'm debating which funds to do. I was originally thinking of doing the triple leverage S&P 500 fund, and that symbol is SPXS. Again, it's triple leverage. It's an inverse fund. It's SPXS. But I think that fund is going to move slower than the other ones, and I'm in there just to get a quick grab and to get out. Okay, and I'm saving the money. When I go back in, it'll be with triple leverage bull funds. That we think the market's set to rise. I think that's most likely to happen in like October of this year or in January of next year. Uh, but I think unless the inflation data comes out exceptionally good, so I expect Powell. Him talking now is going to be negative. I think we're getting the quarter of a point increase for sure. I think we could get monthly increases if the inflation data isn't good. Uh, if it is good, if it shows inflation is down, then we'll probably get quarterly increases. I think Biden is very disturbed by the rate of inflation and what it could do to his Congress. Um, the funds that I made money on was mainly SQQQ, which is a shorting of the QQQs, which are the 100 largest companies on the S 100 largest companies on the Nasdaq. Okay, so these are our high PE companies uh, that they're likely to come down uh, when when you get bad news or when Powell opens his mouth. Either one of those right now is bad news. Okay. I also put some money. I put 3/4 of the money that I shorted with. I put in SQQQ, and I put about 25% of the money in FNGD. FNGD. And these are 10 large technology companies, and they have an average PE of 29, so they clearly need to come down at least somewhat. And I expect that was the only shorting fund that at the end of the day came out positively. Okay, I made I made significantly more money than how these funds ended up at the end of the day because I sold around 11 o'clock. Uh, but I but I would expect that fund tomorrow to go up simply because I think when Powell opens his mouth, the market's going to go down. And these bear funds or shorting funds, these triple leverage inverse funds, they will go up. So I don't recommend this for anybody unless you're used to doing it, simply because it's very tricky and they move very fast. I think I'd be more confident with triple leverage bull funds. Those tend to be somewhat more predictable and to be less harsh. Let's put it that way. And I just generally am more of a bull than a bear. I'm a bear when I see a major crash, and that's the only time I do this. And I think we're seeing a major crash. and I think it's going to continue. I think you're going to get relief rallies. The relief rallies are just opportunities for short sellers and bear funds to double down. And so when you buy into a relief rally, all you're doing is feeding the bears. So like I say, I keep saying to myself, don't feed the bears. Don't feed the bears. Okay. Uh, so that's what I'm doing. I'm probably not going to do SPXS. I have to keep looking at that one. The data keeps telling me that SQQQ and FNGD are the ones to go with, and so those are the ones I'm probably going to go with. I probably would have made the most money out of shorting biotechnology, and I would do that with a triple inverse fund, LABD, but I can't bring myself to do it simply because I love biotechnology. But if you don't have that inhibition, that's made money every day, except not at the end of the day today, it didn't make money. But FNGD did make a little money at the end of the day. But like I say, I sold at 11 o'clock, and you got to move on these when it's time to get in, and you got to move on these when it's time to get out. And you want to have set targets in your mind, because it's impossible to make them up as it's either going up wildly or going down wildly. You got to have in your mind, how much of a loss can I accept, and how much of a gain will I say that's good enough. And it was good enough for me today, so I'm out. And I'm even debating, I got to see how this moves in the pre-market. You know, if the pre-market isn't looking like it's going to go down, I may not do it. We'll just have to see. I take it minute by minute, especially with bear funds. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and share with friends. Share the wealth. And I will see you in the future.